Okay, so I know y'all seen that cop car. I just want to say something on a side note. So here in Arizona, I had gone to the police for help many times, but it was like life-threatening situations. I was assaulted. I want to say it was about a month ago, and I had called the police because this was an ongoing occurrence. Like I kept getting assaulted over and over again, over and over and over again. Like no matter where I moved to, where I went to, this kept happening. And this happened in the other state that I was in too. So I moved here and things are better for me here. Like I'm being treated better here. Like it's a lot better. My experience is a lot better than when I was in Houston, Texas. Let me just be honest about that. It's a lot better here. I mean, there's some pros and cons in every city, every state, but I my experience was a lot better here. I was more at peace here. So I'm not trying to shit on Arizona or nothing. Like I love it here. It's beautiful. Like this is native land. But I had been assaulted by some people that followed me from Houston, Texas, here to Arizona. So there's no shade to Arizona residents. It was just whatever issues that I had in Houston, Texas, it followed me here to Arizona. Some of the people followed me here, whatever demons that I was battling followed me here. But it's been overall more pleasant being here in Arizona. It just for me personally. So anyway, I had some incidences where I kept being harassed, I kept being stalked, I kept being assaulted, and I called the police. I actually had evidence of it as well. So I called the police. Many times I've had to call the police because my life was in jeopardy or my rights were taken away from me. My rights were violated, and the police did not show up at all. Now, they never did this before. Anytime I called the police, they came like in about 15 minutes or less. But when it came down to certain assault situations, they refused to come. And when I would call them, and I was dealing with an attacker, and they were like right down the street. Like, say if you see that bush right there, say if my attacker was right there, and then I call the police, and I'm like, excuse me, I'm in danger. Can you please help? No one came. And it was just many incidences where they just would not come. So I stopped calling because I'm like, well, I mean, if me calling them is going to put me in more danger and they're not going to come help me and I'm just stuck with my attacker, my abuser, I might as well not call them. I might as well not do anything. I mean, that's what I was thinking at the time. So then that's when I started posting these videos. And I mean, that's the only alibi that I have at this time because I've had like this ongoing case with me and certain people that chose to be abusers in my life. And I was trying to get justice for myself. And it's just been this like ongoing power struggle with me and really my abusers. So this is why I make videos, because telling my story was the only way that I could at least try to get justice for myself. Because when I tried to press charges, when I tried to get the police involved, even when I tried to sue, you know how white supremacy works. When people of color, when our rights are being violated, when we try to go to the law to be civilized instead of retaliating or being violent or getting revenge, sometimes we're met with benign neglect. And that was what happened with me in that situation. So even though calling the police seemed strange, my gut was like, I felt like I needed to do that. I can't really explain it. I can't back it up. But, with me having to deal with Jen, she has been really giving me a hard time all my life. And sometimes, like, at least nowadays, when I get approached, sometimes I don't know if it's her or not, because she wears many disguises. She's very sneaky, very subtle. So sometimes I can't tell if that's her, if that's one of her flunkies. Like these days, I can't tell anymore. So that's why I recorded, because something told me that That's a possibility that could have been her, or it could have been, somebody that she sent to come harass me or make me uncomfortable, or it could have just been some jerk. You never know. But for me, because she harasses me every single day, I felt like I needed to not only get the police involved, but to record that gentleman that was over here earlier. So let me get into talking about Ivan because I wasn't done. So, aside from the fact that I had been writing lyrics for him for more than 10 years, and he hadn't been paying me a dime, he knew my situation. He knew that I was out on the streets. He knew that I was struggling to make it, struggling to survive, and he continued to make my life harder by destroying my bike, by destroying my car, by stealing my money, making me dependent on him. Sometimes I would go a whole day or 2 days without food because I was stuck in the shed. And it's a lot deeper than what I can say right now because I've had a lot of bad things happen to me. A lot of traumatic experiences happen to me, especially blunt force trauma to the head. So I don't remember every detail, but I'm trying to be as honest with you guys as possible so that, for the people who are doing their own research and investigation, can put the puzzle pieces together. Because Ivan Caban is responsible for a lot of trauma that happened to me. He's personally responsible for, and if I can be honest about his character, not only is he a narcissist, but he's a complete parasite. But before I found out this information about him, I really did try to be a loyal friend to him. I wasn't perfect, but nor was I kind to him. But at a certain point in time, I tried to redeem myself and make it right. And he just, by his actions, he showed me that he wasn't willing to forgive me. He also showed that he wasn't willing to let this go either. So he went as far as to track me using WhatsApp. I don't know if y'all know. I don't know much about the app, but I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about, WhatsApp. But he tracked me by getting my number on WhatsApp. And he had been tracking me. I'm tracking my phone since I stopped talking to him. He had been tracking my phone the entire time. So whenever I gave him my phone number, from that day on till now, he's been tracking my number. He's been tracking my number. I've changed my number so many times because of abusers. I've had to change my number, change my living residence, change my state, to get out of that life, to get away from whatever negative influences that were still in my life. So, if I'm trying to change and be a better person, I can't hang around the same people I used to. It's not personal. I'm not trying to put them down or talk trash about them. It's just I can't hang out with them anymore. Because they were people that I used to hang out with when I was doing bad things. When I was acting poorly. So in order for me to be a new person, to be more mature, more responsible, I realized that I had to stop hanging around the same people. I had to stop ignoring red flags in certain people's character. And once I realized that certain people had to get cut off, they didn't necessarily agree with me. And because they didn't agree with my decision, they decided not to respect my decision. And they decided to force themselves into my life. More specifically, Ivan Caban. Ivan Caban was majority of the problem. He was really the one that hunted me down. And he got other people involved, whether it was because he had dirt on them or he may have threatened them or bribed him. I think we all may have at some point underestimated the power that he may have had, whether it was wealth, connections, influence. I'm not really entirely sure what type of power he had, but it started to become clear over time that he had enough power to make people do his bidding. And a lot of these people he sent after me to attack me, to keep tabs on me, to watch me. He really took it far. He went far to assert control over my life. And he's still doing that to this day. It's been about about 6 years, maybe a little bit longer.